Fight fans, fight fans, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live for the Canelo Alverez versus Terence Crawford media workout review. Okay. And right now we have the first line of the media talent. Okay. Um, let's get this on the way. I know I'm a bit early, but it started earlier than I thought it was going to. They had a live fight today with some pretty good fighters. I watched a little bit of that as I ate some garbage. All right. Yeah, I know I had to. Okay, yeah. So we have the first contestant today for the media workout. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. If you guys don't know, I am live. I've been doing this strong for 10 plus years. Proud to say, appreciate you guys for your support. Hit the like button when you guys come in. This here is kind of a nice barometer to see where Terence Crawford is. Not necessarily Canelo Alverez, but I am interested to see how he comes out, because media workouts are just really for the press. You know, they're for the tabloids, they're for the magazines, they're for the articles, the columns. That's what it's for. So Skrilla 50 in the building. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. First man on the call, King Skrilla in the building. But no, I mean, definitely these guys, you know, media workout, it's standard PR protocol, you know, on who looks good, what they do, you know, but it's just to show their face in the ring before they do their thing. Bars. So I think that's what it's really all about here. So we got the first fighter here. The undercard. What do you guys think about the undercard? Let me look it up real quick. Yeah. So the Canelo Crawford fight card, the undercard, Fernando Vargas Jr. is going to be a part of it, Christian and Billy and more. We have, who else is on this thing here? Rising Irish star Callum Walsh, which is 14-0 with 11 KOs, will take on undefeated Fernando Vargas Jr., 17-0 with 15 KOs. Of course, he is Fernando, the El Firos, the legend. That's his son. Okay. And with both fighters eager to make their statement. So you got Callum Walsh from Ireland, Fernando Vargas Jr. from Oxnard, California, getting it on. Somebody's needs to go. Christian Billy versus Lester Martinez for the current WBC interim world super middleweight belt holder. Christian Billy, 29-0 with 24 knockouts, faces knockout artist Lester Martinez, which is 19-0 with 16 knockouts. So, you know, again, somebody's has to go. Mohamed Alakel versus John Ornelas. Okay, undefeated prospect Mohamed Alakel, 4-0, meets John Ornelas, and he's 5-2-1 in an undercard showdown in a 10-round lightweight match. Okay. The Canelo versus Crawford preliminary card will stream Tatum ahead of the main event on Saturday, September 13th. Click here to find out about more of those. So, you know, it's not too long, not too drawn out, which is good. I mean, I'm really looking forward to the Callum Walsh versus Fernando Vargas Jr. fight and the Christian Billy, because, you know, that is a hard-hitting mother sucker, versus Lester Martinez. So that should be pretty classy. Skrilla 50 in the building. Bud is going to beat the Cinnamon Sticks cinnamon rolls and cinnamon toast crunch out of Canelo. Man, fights like this defines people, whether you have it or not. It also shows who's willing to go for it and who's willing to not go for it. What we did learn from the last person that attempted to move up in weight, and his name is Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo moved up there and he tasted a little bit of that power and he was like, you know what, no mas. So, he was too proud to quit, but then, too scared to fight, kind of, you know what I mean? He didn't want to get hurt. He didn't want to get stopped. So I think his moral victory was, hey, let me last 12 rounds against Canelo. Bara Elohim, Kurt, Solutions. Okay. I'll never bet against a man that has been shot in the head. Yeah. I mean, Terence Crawford, man, my theory, man, is just Crawford is just going to do a lot more than people think he's going to do. I can't wait to see it, man. I'm really looking forward to this fight. I picked Terence Crawford to win, but I think the fight will be a draw because Terence Crawford will win. I don't think they will over officiate any win or loss for Canelo. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Canelo is going to lose a decision, especially in that neck of the woods. I don't see it. It hasn't happened before. And the first and last time it really happened was against who? Floyd Mayweather. Dimitri Bivol did his thing. He had to throw 1,000 punches to do so, but still. And even that, Canelo thought he won that fight because he's not accustomed to losing decisions. He feels whatever he does is enough, especially somebody that is able to go 12 rounds. But we know of Canelo to have stamina issues. Now, Batisi Sports TV, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you in the building. Now, I will say this, though. Something that I want to talk to you guys about is something Teddy Atlas brought to the forefront. And I was going to bring it up anyway, so let's talk about it. And this is what he did say. He did say maybe this is a perfect time for Terence Crawford to fight Canelo Alverez. And I think Teddy's on to something. Unfortunately, I don't see, I'm not advocating any type of narrative that Canelo is washed, because I think he's a good enough fighter. I mean, he's one of the greatest conventional fighters that we have today. He's learned a lot, but then I think he always will have his challenging fights. The Lars, the Mayweathers, the Bivols, and Lucas, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. But if Crawford does win a decision, it's just a shutout and it's no BS and it's just no way, no how someone would have the balls to score in Canelo's favor will now be the narrative or the excuse at this point. Will Canelo be washed up? And I would have to say no. Because I've looked at Canelo. I've seen what Canelo can do. I've seen everything he can do. And his best moments is at 168. And ultimately, I think, ironically, this is where he will take the loss. And I think he will be really contemplating retirement if he does get outclassed by someone coming up like that. So I believe the pressure's on him. But I do think that Canelo Alvarez and his overall performance levels, they are slowing down, But I'm saying this now. I'm saying this right now, September 10th, 2025, because I want people to understand what's going on. And I want people to understand the full picture. See, I don't see Terence Crawford taking a fight that he feels that he could lose. But the smartest thing to do is never downplay who you're fighting. Because the minute you start downplaying, oh, well, he ain't shit, he ain't this, he ain't that, he's overrated, he's not, whatever, everything negative. If you downplay or try to shrink the accomplishments of the fighter, well, what happens when you beat them? When you beat them, then you've already talked them down so to the point where the credit that you're supposed to get, you don't get because you pretty much shit on your own parade. You never do that. Kurt, the more I think about it, this fight might look like Canelo versus Munguia. It may. It's just, this is Crawford, not Munguia. Munguia is an action fighter, and really, I enjoyed that fight. And it was no love lost between Canelo and Munguia. None. Because, Munguia was like just the fighter. The real fight was Canelo versus Oscar De La Hoya. And to this day, I don't see why Canelo was that mad at Oscar. I still don't understand it. I'm like, Oscar made you a lot of money. You were in the protection plan with Oscar De La Hoya, with Golden Boy. Sure, you pretty much ran the outfit, the promotional outfit, but at the same time, you had all the concessions. You were the A side on every fight except for the Floyd fight. Every other fight, you had full protection. So I didn't understand that, but that's where the real fight was, between Canelo and Oscar, not Canelo and Munguia. Munguia was just a fighter that was fighting that night, right? So it is what it is.
Thank y'all for coming out. Thank y'all for showing love, and I hope to pick up the win for our country Saturday night. Can't wait to watch you perform under the lights. There he is, Kid Corpus, Travis Crawford.
Travis Crawford, okay. Smile for the cameras, people. Canelo hasn't stopped anyone in 4 years, and it won't start on Saturday. Marlon Thornell in the building. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Marshall Carter. Munguia landed 170 punches on Canelo. Yeah, I mean, he's an action fighter, but he holds his mouth open. His defense is very leaky, and he paid for it. He eventually got caught with the shot that put him down. It's just, I don't know. Now, this could be the case, okay? In Canelo's defense, maybe Canelo had respect for his countryman Munguia that he didn't want to finish him. Think about it. Look what he did to Billy Joe Saunders. He wanted to finish Saunders. And he did too, didn't he? He made Saunders quit after round 5. Crushed that boy's face in. That eye was... He gave him the mush face.
Along the way, though, where you went the distance.
Let's see what Crawford's talking about.
Yeah. Was that undermined? Doing your job, but doing it in a way where the fans demand to see you?
Like I always say, I never go in the ring looking for a knockout. If it comes, it comes. And, at 147, it came alive.
Uppercut lands. Crawford on the attack. That's it. It's over. It's over.
I think that
inside of my soul, when I get somebody,
they were showing clips of the Jeff Horn fight.
Tells you it's showtime, or is there something in you that wants to hurt him?
It's showtime. You got to go get him out of there.
When Canelo goes at you about your resume, do you feel a certain kind of way about that? Because he was the money man, he could attract the big fights, but you had to go looking for them and they weren't always there.
I don't feel anything about it. Nobody said anything about my resume until I moved up in weight. That's when that narrative came. Or he's not fighting nobody, to where people started to believe the hype, or he haven't fought nobody. Okay, so look at the fighters that I fought when I fought them. Was they nobodies or was they somebodies?
Interested in Gage right now. Now gets down again. He drops him on his nose. And Kenny Bale doesn't bother to count. He's knocked out.
Oh, yeah, he knocked that boy out.
Knocks him out in the 5th round after winning every single round of the fight. Crawford is another guy you're going to see a lot more of.
A couple years ago, you said, Canelo, that's super middle. That's too much for, it's too big. What has changed your mind between then and now?
He did say that.
I just, took a hard look at him. I sized him up in and out the ring, and I just think, my skills is going to lead me to a victory. He come from 147. You know, he's not a big guy. You know, he's been fighting bigger guys his whole career. So if he can do it, why can't I? That's how I look at it and see it.
And the counter right hook, the left, the right, Errol's
It's crazy. Bro, I'm going to tell you something.
And the referee has intervened. Mamma mia!
Wow.
Terence
Amazing.
Crawford made it.
And listen. If Crawford, I did a short about this already months ago.
In almost 50 years since Ali fought Spence, because this is on Netflix. Do you feel any responsibility that when all the attention is on boxing, you've got to deliver?
I'm gonna give him a victory. Like I said, everybody got their opinion. They're entitled to say and think whatever they want. I don't want to change anybody's opinion on anything until fight night.
Well, I'll say this, man. If Crawford goes in and he stops, it's hard not to, you're going to get the excuses. You're going to get this. You're going to get, Canelo's slowing down. It's just, just got slow overnight and just that. And no. If Crawford stops Canelo, it's going to shut a lot of people up. There have been colleagues of mine. I'm not going to say any names. You said that he'll shut his channel down. He'll shut his channel down if Crawford wins. I don't base my channel off of one fighter. That's some fanboy shit. Like, if you want to shut your channel down, one is just showing that he's that confident, which you got to give him credit for the balls. But it's like you're putting your faith, your trust, your future of your channel on the line because of one fighter and his ability to do something that you feel he's going to do. And if he doesn't do what you feel he's going to do, you're going to shut your channel down. It just shows me that your focus is more than likely off. He's going to shit on Canelo because of those resume comments. He said, I feel Crawford is too confident. I mean, we'll see. I just want to see how he can take those shots from Canelo. Because, Canelo comes in with surprising counters. And that shit's blinding. You know what I mean? He's not really the fastest, but the punches are explosive. So you got to be careful with that shit, So, man, I can't wait. Like Bruce Vane said, I'm not here to watch Canelo versus Crawford. I'm here to see Canelo versus Bud. Yeah, man. Bruce Vane, he's doing his thing, man. He's doing his thing. He's really coming off. I think he had a shadow ban. I had a shadow ban for a while. You know what I mean? And I think what it is like, it's temporary ones, like there's, and I don't understand it. Like, why would you shadow ban a channel that's constantly making content? I think they think backwards, but anyhow, yeah, but he's doing good. He's speaking his mind, good content, well put together, well thought about before he makes them. Bruce Vane's doing his thing. Shout out to Bruce Vane in the building. Bruce Vane is the king of the shadow ban. Yeah, man, they try, but it's just too many people that come to see Bruce's content. You know what I mean? But again, there's different shadow bans though. There's some where people they just try their best to hide your shit. Then there's others where they're there, but they don't give you notifications that they're there. Not everyone gets it, which is crazy. But Canelo's punches on the arms, which hurts. He doesn't have to land elsewhere. When your arms hurt, it's hard to execute plans. That ain't no lie. Facts. Facts. A lot of people compare this fight to Canelo versus Mildred. I heard Julio Cesar Chavez versus Mildred Taylor. A lot of people compared this. I don't think it's going to be like that at all. I think it's going to be more of Julio Cesar Chavez versus Pernell Whitaker. That's the comparison that they're overlooking and they're not bringing up. And it was a what? What was that fight? What was the ending result? How was it ruled? A draw. Which everyone knew that was a fucking robbery. It's going to be the same today. If Crawford comes out here and does his thing against Canelo, and Canelo does it, of course, he's never been down, and he's never been, of course, you've never been down, you've never been knocked out, none of that, right? Yeah. I see that fight going the same way. Now, is Crawford slicker than Pernell? No, I don't think a lot of people are not. Maybe Tevin Farmer, but even he's past his prime right now. But, all said and done, you have to think about fights like Crawford and fighters like Crawford, But, I would love to see a knockout either way, to be fair, because then, if Canelo can land the shots to take out Crawford, okay, that's expected. You know what I mean? That's expected. You're the bigger dude. You're the king of 168. You stop the little guy, or you stop the smaller guy, should I say. Because Terence Crawford's not little, but he's not big either. So, Canelo Alverez, this is an undefeated fight here. When the lights are bright, Bud will show up. Yeah, Bud. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy about this fight because Terence Bud Crawford is believing that he can do it. And he asked for this fight a long time, but I want people to understand something very, very, very important about this fight that I think we forgot. Okay. So let me remind you of what this fight really is. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford is a replacement fight. It's a fight as the result of what? An upset. It wasn't an upset to me. Who was supposed to fight Canelo Alvarez? Errol Spence. Errol Spence was supposed to fight Canelo Alvarez. So basically, Terence looked at it as like, look, they were going to give Spence the opportunity to move up to 168 or whatever to take on Canelo Alvarez. So I just dusted Errol Spence and retired him for 2+ years. So why can't I get that same opportunity? Counterpunch. Kurt, if it goes to a draw to this day, commandment will become just because I'm black. Well, don't know. Okay, Christian Billy's in the ring, people. They say Bruce Wayne is too intelligent to be canceled. I will share something with you. When you're up, you're up. When you're down, you're down. But it's who's around you on both ends of the spectrum. Not just only when you're up, not when you're making 1 million, 2 million views a month. That's up to me. That's up. I'm talking about when you're down, when people have decided, you know what, I don't like Kurt DeVille and his counterpunch boxing bullshit. Let's try to cancel him. Let's try to shut his channel down. So I remember when that did happen. You guys know anything about copyright strikes, copyright claims? Well, I had 9 copyright strikes, actually 10. One was rejected from Boxing Ego because he tried to shut my shit down too. And I'm like, what the hell? You guys are supposed to have all these views and all these subscribers. Why are you? And at the time, I probably had half of what I have now, 5 years ago. So I had 40,000 subscribers at that time, killing them. Because they were lying about stuff that wasn't true. They were all for the Wilder, and Tyson Fury's the biggest cheat and con man, and he's a cheater like Louis Resto, and Antonio Margarito, and he deserves. And they were going around signing a petition to get the fight overturned, the decision. It was a bunch of desperate shit, and I was killing them with it. But they tried to shut me down, and they attacked, bro. But if it wasn't for like Bruce Vane, Showbiz the Adult, and Ring IQ, Lady Shan too, right? Those four were on my. They had my back. They had my back 100%. Shout out to Pep Talk UK. God bless the dead. Pro B's as well. So, people were there. I remember when those shitheads came after you. Yeah, it was bad. I had to start a new channel because I believe they did it. And they did it at a time where they knew that Deontay Wilder's friend, what's his name? Damn, I can't remember his name right now. What's his name? Dookie Love in the house. Damn. Whether you have 90,000 subscribers, Kurt, or 50, I'll still be in your corner. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. But yeah, Tay Jones, appreciate you. I had Tay Jones, he was coming on and he agreed to come on, but then right before that, boom, they start hitting me with copyright strikes. And when that happens, you can't do lives. But then they hit me with another one. And then 7 more after that. And then another one came. And I'm thinking these are from 3 different channels. And it was crazy, Showbiz had my back. Bruce Vane, we talked for hours over that. You know what I mean? It was definitely, I definitely could feel the support from other content creators. And I think that's what we need, especially something like that, because nobody really agreed with it because it was excessive, Yeah, they saw me as a threat. They wanted to shut my channel down because they were just finding ones. 3 strikes shut your channel down forever, and I had 9. So it was a lot that had to go, into play. But I just remember the people that were there for me when I was down. You know what I mean? So those are the people that I would remember when I'm up, so, or when they're down, right? So they don't have to be, doing their thing. So I try to show love when I can, to other content creators because, and these guys are way much more, all of them, and gals, they're all more technically sound than I am. I'm just now catching this shit I'm doing right now with the mic and the head. I should have been doing this shit years ago. I just didn't know how to, you know what I mean? I was a telephone guy that, flew from place to place and did videos on the fly, but, was that guy. So counterpunch, Christian and Billy, Canadian, 29-0 with 24 KOs, 168 pounder. Yeah, Lady Shan, man, Lady Shan. She had AJ on her show. So she had Anthony Joshua on her show. It wasn't live or nothing like that, but he did an interview. And she just broke it in. She chopped it into different videos. But yeah. Cool to converse with. Anybody, man. If you're doing your thing, man. Me and Pep Talk UK, we were like this though, man. We were probably closest as we could probably be as far as that goes. And Pro B's was real. I used to go on Pro B's Pep Talk UK before I started my live, just to say what's up, everybody in the UK, big up, stay up, keep your head up, all that up, right? So, but yeah, Billy, he's doing his thing in the ring. Oh man, Dookie Love in the house, amazing. Oh man, I don't know if you guys heard, man. American activist Charlie Kirk was assassinated today. Yeah, this morning. So it's the 10th. Yeah, Kurt, he would have done an interview with you too, but you keep wanting to fight AJ. Nah. Yeah, I mean, I would fight him. Hell yeah, I'd fight AJ. Give me $3 million. I'll fight him. I mean, it has to be something that I can walk away with a solid M. You know what I mean? So definitely, yeah. You know, a lot of it I would probably invest in cryptocurrency, something like that, something smart. You know, buy another house, shit like that. You know, but no, definitely, man, definitely. Yeah, I'd fight AJ. You know, I mean, respectfully, because he's the money man. I wouldn't fight Wilder for 30,000 or 10,000. No, bro, you're not. No, I'm not fighting Wilder for that. No. You know what I mean? Now, would I fight Wilder to fight like AJ? Sure. But that would have to be in paper. Like, you fight AJ if you fight Wilder. I'm going to try to knock Wilder's ass out. Now, you asked me this 5 years ago. No. Now, sure. Wilder's my age. You know what I mean? And then he's frail now. He's you know what I mean? So, yeah, I wouldn't give him the opportunity. The way Wilder would beat me only would be because I ran out of gas. My ass turned into Zilly Big Bang Kurt. Pause. Right? You would continue counterpunch boxing, retire? No, yeah, bro, I'm gonna do this until I drop. I may start another channel. You know, movie review, first episode coming real soon after the fight. Talked to Boxing Wave a couple days ago. We did a test live stream, so you know, stay tuned for that. And we're going to talk about sinners, and we're going to, you know, yeah, we're going to do the thing. We're going to do our thing. So, but no, definitely. Big up to you, Kurt, for all the years of taking time out of your busy schedule to put out fire content. You are leaving movie sets to put out content. Thanks for everything, Kurt. Appreciate you, man. Man, I was in the dressing rooms, bro. I was in the trailer making content going live, man. I remember, like, because it was a lot of times, especially like shows like Color Purple, when they don't need you right now, so you just sitting around chilling. You know what I mean? Going to Crafty, stealing snacks and shit. Yeah. You know, and then, yeah, those were some good days, man. Good times. Good challenging times. Back when Tyson Fury knocked out Dillian White, and Dillian White said he got pushed. Yeah, you got pushed by an uppercut that put you to the ground. Yeah. You know, that's when he started to lose a little stripes, because, I mean, you know, it's all about your character when you take a loss. If you can't take a loss without acting out, making excuses, other shit like that, you're going to lose credit. Okay, your stock's going to plummet. All right, when you can't take a loss, Eunice Butterball, counterpunch to you, brother. Kurt, I think if you were to use AI to translate in Arabic, the Saudi crowd might vote you in. Nice. If I knew how to do that, I would definitely do that. It might give you an edge. That would be dope. You know, in Turkey, I'll let you, who is this counterpunch boxing? Counterpunch boxing. I like counterpunch. He has big eyes too. He loves boxing, a lot of boxing. He does a lot of good things. Contact him. Kurt, Biggie or L, or Big L. Who the hell is Big L? Like Wilder did with his living autopsy. Yeah. Actually, it was Marcelos that did that, you know. The autopsy said. Man, those were some times, man. I ain't gonna lie. It was very lucrative days. And the crazy thing was, it was like the money that we made, like the money was a lot better. And no one did anything. We hardly ever had fights then. Everybody was stuck inside. Like people were, dropping COVID bombs. Now, Billy has some heavy hands, bro. Philip Hergovic turned down an offer from Warren to fight Atoma. He demands a lot of money. Didn't know that. So not everybody wants to get in there. But you know what, bro? Let me tell you something. That would have been a massacre. That would have been a massacre. And then here's the problem with Philip Hergovic. Philip Hergovic I don't think he hits hard enough to really, based on his size, I think his best attribute is he has a chin. But I think he's going to be one of those dudes that will need help walking when he gets old.
Debut here on Saturday night. How excited are you to compete here in front of these fans in Las Vegas?
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be in Vegas today, and I can't wait to be in the ring.
A lot of people think this fight against Lester Martinez could be a fight of the year. What type of fight are you expecting Saturday night?
They're supposed to.
Fight.
And if you win, what's next?
I hope the winner of the final.
My man, thanks for putting on a show today. Ladies and gentlemen, once more, Christian and Billy.
And Billy! I am very happy to be here. It sounds like Macaulay. Nah, Macaulay. Yeah, man, I don't say man. I ready to fight, man. I don't need to fight anyone, man. Give me opportunity, man. Turkey, call me, man. Call me, man. I want to fight Parker, man. Give me the one of Parker and Wardley, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will now bring out our next fighter.
Don't talk sports.
Kick it off the main card live on Netflix. He is an undefeated 21-year-old phenom out of Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Mohammed Alakel. Yeah, he's pretty good though, So Philip Hergovic, I did this morning I did some videos this morning about Frank Warren and but Philip would have been fish food, bro. He would have been fish food. It would have been fish food. I'm sorry. It just would have it wouldn't have been like what people think it was going to be. Yeah, this is one of Turkey's fighters. Alakel. Dubois ducked Parker again. Yes, he did. Now he's injured. And now what they're trying to do, they're trying to just tag that along. They're trying to tag that along with now he's injured, or he was injured in the Usyk fight. And I'm like, bro, miss me with that shit. Please, pretty please, miss me with all the BS about now Danny Dubois. He was supposed to knock out Usyk. He's supposed to do this and do that. He looked like trash. Now he's injured. But we didn't hear he was injured. You know, like Frank Warren said, he's like, now we're hearing it after the fact. We didn't hear anything about Dubois being injured. We didn't hear anything about that at all. Dubois is doing the Wilder. I'd like to see Bakali versus Chisora for the build-up. Chisora would troll Bakali for transforming from the boogeyman to Burger Man. Yeah, I can hear it. Man, imagine Derek Chisora. This guy, man, he's South African, man. You know, he stays in Scotland, man. And this guy, he's fat as fuck, and he doesn't know how to stop eating, man. He pushes away the plate. I mean, look at this guy. If I punched Martin Bakali in his stomach, probably burgers and cheeseburgers and Snickers and shit is gonna come pouring out his ass, man. So, you know, I think he's just a fat dude that doesn't know how to stop eating. That's it. He gets a little money and, you know, you beat up on poor Jared Anderson, the American, and then you just decided you wouldn't. Now you just wanted to eat yourself to death, man. He's a fat fuck, man. I can't wait to show people that, you know, don't come in here with me if you don't want to fight. And I don't think Bakali's ready to fight. I think he's just on some bullshit, man. That's all. Like, he wants to come here and he wants to tell us about his training. Well, what the fuck happened? I mean, he's sitting there, look at him. He's wearing all these gold chains and shit. And I looked at him. I'm like, you look like a fat Mississippi pimp. So where does he get this style from, man? Tell me that. Come on, Kurt. He is not injured. He just didn't want to fight. No, because he didn't want to take 2 losses back to back, because that's how it starts. See, once you get whooped like he got whooped, a lot of people thought he quit. A lot of people thought that, hey, you know what, maybe, you know, yeah. But all in all, he didn't want to get that ass whooped again, because that's an easy way to get whooped. Because that's what normally happens to fighters. When they start losing it, they start getting in there with all those fighters. That's when you know their career is pretty much done. When they start throwing those guys in there with one hard opponent, then the next hard opponent, then the next hard opponent. It happens to the best of them, bro. It happened to Josecito Lopez. It happened to Sugar Shane Mosley. It happened to a lot of people like that. Look at Sugar Shane. Sugar Shane, he beat Margarito pretty much the second or in the last high point of his life. After that, he lost to Cotto. First, it was Mayweather, then Cotto, you know, then Pacquiao, then Canelo. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, when you start seeing that one guy that used to be that guy and he's getting put in with the next best thing, he is the sacrificial lamb, definitely. Okay? So, and I think Daniel was like, nah, I ain't trying to be that dude. I'm not trying to take a Joseph Parker fight after getting my ass beat up like I did by Usyk, because it was just too risky. Not saying he couldn't have had a good fight, because as long as Daniel can land, he's going to fight you. But the minute he finds out that there's no hope, he's going to quit, and he's going to find a good stopping point to do so as well. I was surprised Bakali didn't KO Efe with all those heavy shots he threw. Does Efe have a great chin, or is Bakali power overrated? I think Bakali's a good counter puncher, but I think he's more of a volume guy. I don't think that, you know what I mean? You think about the punches that Jared Anderson took. He didn't just get hit with one shot. He got hit with multiple shots. I think his punches are thudding, and he chops with his shots, but he chops with his shots. His shots, they're surprising because they're counters, a lot of them, but then they don't have a lot of power, because he's throwing those punches. He's throwing from up here. He's throwing from his shoulders. So when a guy throws like that, he's not leaning into these shots. You know what I mean? He doesn't have a shot where he's just leaning in and sitting down on these punches. What he's doing is he's just taking his time and putting punches together. That's what he did to Jared Anderson again. So I'm not surprised with Efe Ajagba where his ability to take him, because, he wasn't putting a lot of heavy punches together. You know what I mean? Now, he did try to hurt Effie. He did have Effie bleeding. And Effie should have never stopped moving. Now he's fighting Frank Sanchez, and that's going to be a pretty good fight. So that's going to be a tough fight all by itself, because Frank showed Effie something that Effie has never seen before. The only problem is about that fight, it looks a lot better now for Effie because Effie has seen that now. He knows what to expect from the Cuban Flash. He knows that, hey, this guy's explosive. I have to keep my guard up. I have to constantly use the jab. You know what I mean? I have to not get set by those Tom and Jerry traps, which those Cuban fighters are known for. They're renowned for. They want you to step in so they can beep, beep, beep to your face. Okay? Frank Warren said Atoma will fight in the 13th of December against a top 10 heavyweight. Who will it be? I don't know. I mean, they'll pick somebody, I don't think it's going to be someone like Johnny Fisher. Can't be Dave Allen. Maybe Joe Joyce. Maybe Joe Joyce. Because, Joyce will take that fight. And again, another guy that was on the top, that rode high for a while, 15 fights, until he ran into the wall of China, Zhilei Zhang. And then when he ran into that wall, he figured out like, this is what it's about. But as the result of taking all those punches and all that damage and all that violence and all that, he eventually found someone that he could not take that shot. He got to his breaking point. But if you notice, he's going to fight Dillian White, which I'm really, I'm biased. And I'm going to tell you why I'm biased, because I'm mad. And I'm mad because I would have rather seen Dillian White versus Joe Joyce in 2023. So that I would rather see that fight. I would rather see the Juggernaut take on the Body Snatcher rather than Zhilei Zhang. You know what I mean? It's just Zhilei Zhang did what he needed to do to show that he is still around and he's still a threat because he's still able to bang, and his name is still Zhilei Zhang. Bars. Whatever happened to Otto Weiland? Good question. He's now being coached by, I believe, Ronnie Shields. Yeah. He looks good though. I've seen Otto Weiland, and I've did some follow-up videos on him. People just really forgot all about him. He made his name off of the moral victory he had with Tyson Fury when he cut him a couple of times very badly. You guys remember that? So, then he beat Dominique Brazil. Then he beat a couple other guys, and then he finally, moved up against AJ in the Days of Reckoning, and got his face broken. AJ broke this dude's face. You know what I mean? So after that, he came back, won another fight. Who else did he fight and he lost to? I know he lost to Derek Chisora. So Triple J got screwed big time. How did Triple J doofus get a title shot before him after he shattered his eye and made him quit? That's easy. The backing, the promotional bias. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. Joe Joyce is British. So you can't go there with it, because normally if Joe Joyce was Australian or something like that, yeah. But no, in this case, he was broke. He's another Brit guy. But I think what his problem was, he was old. But ultimately, what happened to Joe Joyce is what people predicted would happen to Joe Joyce. He eventually ran into somebody that can take that jaw and dismantle it and crack it open for him real nice like. And that's exactly what happened. So it is what it is. And, Daniel's that young guy that only had that one loss, right? So, yeah, he got his opportunity because, Frank Warren was pushing for Danny Dubois because Danny Dubois, and look, and he did a good job, man. Shout out to Frank Warren, bro. Frank Warren, the way he stands by his fighters is very impressive. Make no mistake about it. He is a British promoter and he supports British fighters. He doesn't necessarily try all that Eddie Hearn shit like, hey, I'm over here in the States and I'm down in Mexico the next couple months. Then I'm back to the UK. Then I got some Australian talent. That ain't Frank. Frank stays at home, if you notice. He stays in the UK. Eddie's the one that wants to go abroad, worldwide, and all that stuff. But then you see the biasness. You see guys that he's signed, like Luis Ortiz and Michael Hunter and all those guys that they didn't lose. He just did not support them like British fighters. These are just facts. Triple D should fight Zhang. That would be a good fight. And I see him winning that fight because Zhang can run out of gas. Yep. Eddie is shaggy chick. Eddie is out. Shaggy chicks is different countries like the smooth playboy he is. Yep. Kurt, why AJ don't look to rematch Daniel? Because there's no money. There is nothing in it for AJ. That's easy. I mean, it would be him avenging the loss, but, at this point, what would he gain? Fighting Daniel Dubois now, I told you guys this would happen. I told you it would happen. The minute Daniel Dubois takes that step and tries to fight Alexander Usyk and he gets his ass beat like I told people he was going to get beat anyway, what is left for him? Nothing much. Is he a huge draw? Really? He needs someone else. He needs a dancing partner to be a huge draw. He had Usyk and he had AJ. And that was his last two fights, some of the biggest heavyweight stars in the division. That's why Danny Dubois was Danny Dubois, because Danny Dubois, his name was associated with another fighter that was a lot more popular than him. I'm just calling it a buck. The other two guys that he beat, Philip Hrgovic, really not tested. Jarrell Miller, 500 pounds. So, really, what are we really talking about? Then you get beat. Then what you got? I told people this would happen. Danny Dubois gets beat, then what does he really have? Who really wants to fight him now? And I told people, AJ wouldn't want to fight him now. You lost. So why would I go after you? And I could probably get my ass beat again. Sure, because it's already happened. Why not? That's a realistic outcome based on what we saw before, right? Okay, so then why would AJ take that risk knowing what we've already seen for nothing? You can't say it's the money. AJ got enough of that. So you can't say it's about the money. Let's just be real, man. Yeah, AJ's a belt chaser. He's after something that makes sense. He's not going to fight Danny Dubois, and Danny Dubois has nothing to show for it. He has nothing to offer AJ. You talking about money? I mean, look, AJ can make more money just doing whatever the hell AJ wants to do. He's pretty much what Canelo Alverez. I can do whatever I want. He had Miller to carry him in the press conference. Yeah, he had to. Miller carries everyone in the press conference. Because Miller, I want to see a 2018 version of Deontay Wilder versus the current day Jarrell Miller. That would have been exciting because, Deontay Wilder was wanting a body in the ring back then. He was a lot more vengeful. He was a lot more aggressive. He was outspoken. He had the confidence. He had the girl. He had the life. Right? Triple D is a good dude, but if we're being real, he was a paper champion and he will fade away. Well, if he keeps talking about this I'm injured shit, yeah, he will. If he keeps talking about, oh man, well, I'm injured now, and then, okay, what the fuck are you injured? How? Your brain is, you got brain injury? Philip Hrgovic versus Martin McCauley will be an absolute war. Yes, it will. Because, see, Philip Hrgovic has the chin to take those chopping ass, shots. I would like to see that though. Philip Hergovic versus Martin McCauley. Yeah. Triple D can barely speak a sentence unassisted. Sad, dude. Sad. Sad, dude. Hold on a second. All right. I am back. Danny Dubois has embarrassed AJ at his home. He needs to get that back. Yeah. AJ needs to come back to the States. He ain't did that yet. So I really don't think AJ cares no more about that type of shit, man. I think he's just like, look, I got some, I win some, I lose some. You know what I mean? I've made all this damn money. I've got properties all over the world. I got you know what I mean? Like I'm buying up shit. I'm buying, like the dude's got money and he's making money and he's using money to make more money. And he's just going to be this money dude that smiles and grins and he's going to stay in shape. He's going to be this rich, you know, cat. That's it. It wouldn't surprise me to see Frank throw Triple D in there with Moses and then Triple D will be done. Well, if he does, the minute he does, if given Moses keeps doing what he's doing to people, yeah. But at that point, we will know that Frank Warren has pretty much pulled the unofficial plug on him. It's either sink or swim, you know. But pretty much, it's like throwing somebody in the water with their hands tied behind their back, and they got to use their feet like Navy SEALs to kick to stay afloat, which that's slim to none. So yeah, he'll throw him to the wolves. That's a lie. He has to have a brain to sustain a brain injury. Old dunce Cap Danny out partying before the biggest fight of his life just to watch his mouthpiece spin like a frisbee. Man, that's crazy. Man, you killing Daniel. Man, leave Daniel alone. Daniel, man, you know. Yeah. I got a Patreon video coming this week. You know, I haven't done enough Patreon and all that good stuff. So you're going to like this. And it's something that I've been telling people that could happen a long time. So stay tuned. Yeah, man. Dude said, man, mouthpiece spinning like a frisbee, killing him. Yeah, dude. It's crazy. Lester Martinez, 19-0 with 16 KOs, 5'11", 168 pounds. So, you know, that's some Billy's competitor. Bro, that's going to be a good fight.
Cristian. Voy a ser el primero y toda la gente se lo va a celebrar más que yo y espero que así sea. I'm going to be the first one, and yes, I'm going to be celebrating, and people will celebrate more than me, and it's going to be great.
Can't wait to watch you perform. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. One more time, Lester Martinez.
Mr. Martinez. Danny Two Tiles, man. Man, Don Charles threw both tiles in there. Good. Here, man, he threw both tiles. Damn. That's crazy. Man, I was laughing beyond belief, bro. Bryce Productions counterpunched to you in the trenches over here.
you fans have come to see. He is one half of the co-main event live on Netflix. His athleticism as undeniable as his great boxing bloodlines. Please welcome the undefeated Fernando Vargas Jr.
Fernando Vargas Jr., 17-0 with 15 KOs. He's fighting out of Las Vegas. Crazy, man. Been seeing a lot of Vargas, here and there. You know what I mean? So now he's co-main in an event, so that's cool. So I look forward to seeing him, man. I used to watch his pop all the time. I mean, Fernando Vargas was one of those guys. He didn't want to get it on. He loved to fight. I mean, he didn't beat everyone, but I mean, he has his wins. Ike Corte, Wiki, right? He lost to like De La Hoya, Trinidad, Sugar Shane. These guys. I mean, but you have to think about the 5 guys that I just mentioned. That's a hell of a resume all by itself. All by itself. And the Winky Wright fight was a very hard fight. Winky Wright was probably one of the most difficult fighters to fight. He was like the Edislandi Lara of the time. That guy that, that a lot of people avoided, that a lot of people tried to shake and swerve and duck, But definitely, man, definitely. AJ should return to USA to Derek James. He is better trainer than Ben Davison. He's not going to do that, though. He's not, Yeah, Winky Wright was a bad boy. I mean, they didn't start getting Winky until he just got older. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think like by the time Winky started fighting guys like Paul the Punisher Williams, yeah, you know what I mean? Winky was way past his prime. I remember Fernando Vargas Jr., hanging over the shoulders of his pops after those fights. He's a little kid looking just like Fernando Vargas, right? Snoop or 50 Cent. Oh, I don't know. Kind of a hard one, man. You want to go with Snoop? Because, Snoop been around longer. You try to see me on the TV, use a VG, D, or double G. Yes, I'm an OG. Yeah, gotta love some old classic Snoop Dogg, man. The shit's snipped. Doesn't matter how good the trainer is if the fighter is dropping his hands every time he throws. AJ looked his absolute worst. He did. He didn't look like he wanted to be there. You know what I mean? Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba. Every time I heard that song, honestly, I'm going to tell you guys the truth. Every time I heard AJ come out to that song, I got nervous. I was like, oh shit, because he did that. He's done that in Madison Square Garden, and done that in the Usyk fights. He did that again against Daniel Triple D, 2 tiles Dubois, 2 times. I didn't know Fernando Vargas Jr. was a southpaw. I was about to say, who's the vato with the bandana? That's Fernando Vargas. That's Pop Deuce there. Like, oh wow. Pero comer demasiado comida. Coño. I thought he came out to the Godfather thing. He did. I mean, he came out to both. He came out to the Godfather, then he changed it over to Sweet Caroline. Blah, blah, blah. And everybody, man, about 3-4 p.m. my time, everybody lit. AJ got destroyed by the living version of Frankenstein as a boxer. Damn. Any news about Andy Ruiz? I'm still on the treadmill. I'm still training. I can't wait for another opportunity. Turkey, call me, please, so we can talk. I'll fight whoever, please. Where's AJ? Who's AJ fighting? Let's go for a trilogy. And he's something else, though, man. And he's something else. He's on a roll, isn't he? Dude said, see you. Mouthpiece spinning like a frisbee. Yeah, it did fly, bro. He knocked the mouthpiece off that boy. My uncle said that big dude with his big ass mouth. He said his mouth is big. That dude's hilarious, man. I'd love to see Moses versus Ruiz. Man, Moses versus Ruiz. That'd be a good fight. Good fight, man. I want to see Andy win there with somebody, bro, with a fucking pulse. Tired of this, dude. You look, Luis Ortiz is getting fights, and you ain't getting fights. Something got to be wrong with that picture, though. Really, just like really think about it for a minute. Andy, you're supposed to be in shape. You're making these fire ass highlight reels and all this, but then yet you can't seem to get a fight to save your life. What is going on? Fire your father and get a real manager, not someone just likes to take your money whenever lights get close to being cut off over A. The right hand might be shot to shit after he broke it on Miller's titanium head. Yeah, man. That Jarrell Miller, bro, he has a big block ass head. Scarface or Ice Cube? Ice Cube. But that's kind of Ghetto Boys versus NWA. What the? AJ versus Ruiz 3 in the US makes sense. AJ would get a title shot if he found a way to KO Ruiz, but he won't, and that ain't gonna happen. He ain't coming back to the States to fight. AJ's gonna come back to the States to not fight. But no. I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening, man. Well, to say the least, Fernando Vargas Jr. looks good. He looks good. Southpaw, slick. He appears to have good fundamentals. We'll see on the day how he performs. We will see on the day how he performs. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Great. AJ will be in Houston chasing big booties. Yeah, I like that one, man. Yeah, go find it. Go tell her to come in. Yeah, I like you. What do you want? Did you come back to my pen? Come back to my room. We'll have a few laughs. Hey, before you do it, sign this NDA for me, if you mind, innit? Yeah, sign it for me, please. Yeah. What's your name? Tatiana. Nice to meet you, Tatiana. They call me Big Femi. Biggie or Tupac. Biggie had some weird. I'm gonna tell you something about Biggie. Biggie Smalls, bro. He had some questionable bars. You know what I mean? Like the shit that he used to say back then. I like him young, fresh, and green. No hair between the legs. You know what I mean? I'm like, what? And I heard him like, I don't like that. You know? Man, junior and senior, bro, they're putting on a boxing clinic, bro. It's mid-city over here. Bob Arum is missing. He is kidnapped or what? I don't know. Bob's sitting at home smoking a joint. I'm just telling you, I don't want to talk to anybody until the Crawford and Canelo fight's over. Soon as it's over, I'm gonna make another introduction, and you can call all these varmints in here with telephones, with speakers, and the bright shiny lights. Tell them to leave that shit outside. I don't want to have that bright light shining in my face. Fight Hub or whatever they call them. They're notorious for it. I have to keep telling them. Get that damn light out of my face, will you? If I had the money and Riz AJ does, I'd be sponsored by Trojan. Why don't you take a Trojan condom in it? A Trojan for a Trojan. I use Magnums. Extra large and extra thin. AJ talking shit about his brother to win the favorite son spot of his pops, John's Fury. Yeah, I seen that, man. AJ calling out Tyson Fury, people. What do you think of that? Torres versus Atoma will be a war. Yeah, these fights must happen. I think they're trying to build those type of fights because those guys still need to do something that either they fight similar opponents, which that's what the older fighters are there for. They're there to gauge what these new guys can do with these old seasoned guys. You know, and based on how the performance goes, that's how you have an argument then who would win, which it doesn't have anything to do with it. It's just as far as performances, if they haven't fought each other, they base on what they've already done with other fighters, especially mutual opponents. So if these opponents are mutual, yeah, well, you know, like Manny Pacquiao, look what he did to Ricky Hatton versus what Floyd did to Ricky Hatton. Floyd knocked him out in 10. Manny knocked him out in 2. Let that sink in. Does AJ have Riz? His height alone is enough for most women. I don't know what Riz means. What does that mean? Tyson would endorse AJ's condom sponsorship in an old video. Fury said that AJ is well endowed and he wished that he was packing too. Yeah, I remember he made that comment. Yeah, I wish I had an 11-inch. He probably does. He's probably on low. The big Dulce. Richie Torres is a very good southpaw. Dude, he's worked up a sweat, man. Dude, this is a very good media workout. Yeah, I mean, he's showing his stuff. And this is the co-main event, guys. So we got next Terence Crawford and Canelo Alverez. Alverez. Oh, I like that speed on, Vargas. Pretty good crowd out there too, man, I must say. Height, English accent, panties on the floor. I'd like to take you down and, take you off your clothes and, nibble on you a bit, innit? I'm sitting there like, okay, yeah. Yeah, it all depends on where you're at. Somebody's exotic somewhere, right? Tyson has said some weird shit like that a couple of times. Said it about Francis, too. Yeah, but that's Riz right there, Kurt. Ah, gotcha. Riz. Hey, sign this NDA, innit? So whatever goes down, it's between you and me. You can't take me to court. I'll buy you a Gucci bag for all your problems. With a little something special inside, innit? Yeah. As soon as I get inside. Yeah, that dude's a trip. That dude is a trip. I had a funny guy named, Jesus, had his name right on the man because one of my friend of mine fought him. What's the guy's name? The tall guy that fought Tyson Fury. Top Rank is dead. No show yet. Come on. Trying to tell you, Bob Arum somewhere smoking a big fat blunt. He's probably smoking it out of a pipe, knowing him. I want clean marijuana in my lungs. I love this shit. I've been smoking it since 62. And all it does is makes me more relaxed. All these bastards drinking and all that shit. Give me some weed any day. Hi, Kurt. I'm one of Chris Eubanks' padmen. Chris told me that he will destroy Canelo or Crawford. Mortal Men Box UK. Counterpunch to you. I like to see it, man. You know, I just remember the last time he went to 168, it wasn't so great, you know. But, you know, people age, and I do think it's time for him to move up, you know. So, big up Mortal Men Box UK. Tell the Eubanks I said what's up and counterpunch to them. Great. It's past Bob's bedtime. He's asleep. I go to sleep at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't waste my time with bullshit. After Johnny Carson went off the air, I had no desire to watch TV. Cool. Appreciate you, Mortal Men Box UK. Big up. Word on the street that is King and Arum had a major bidding war for Luis Ortiz in 1865 for silver coins and gold teeth. Yeah, they did. You know, they were, you know, back then he's like, estoy esclavo, ¿qué es lo que pasa con ellos? No trabajando por trati. Sí, trabajando por trati. Ok. ¿Qué tiene? Mi nombre es Luis. Your name, Toby. Luis. Hey, Toby, okay. Toby! Yeah, man. What's your thoughts on Mike Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather? I honestly wouldn't mind Mike breaking the exhibition rules and knocking Floyd out unconscious as long as Floyd is okay. You know what, though? If Mike did that, if he punched Floyd and knocked Floyd out. Oh, what was that, Mike? Mike hit me, knocked my fucking teeth out. He pulled my diamond. Motherfucker, I ain't paying you shit. Mike would probably get his strike back. If Mike knocked out Floyd Mayweather, he would get his strike back. Think about it. Mike would get his strike back. People hate Floyd that much. And I think people are that much more disappointed in Mike because everybody loves Mike Tyson, really, to be fair. And if he does something like that, people will think, you know what? Mike was probably just sick. That's why he couldn't do that. And he got paid a bunch of money. But against Floyd, he said, fuck the money because he's made enough money against Jake Paul. So he's coming in to take Floyd's head off. And he does do something that crazy. People are going to love Mike Tyson. Man, you see what Mike Tyson did to Floyd Mayweather? Man, hit that dude one time, man. He did crazy. Then he started biting on his gloves. You know. Oh, yeah, that too, man. Come in for an interview, bro. Come in for an interview. You know, I'm a huge Chris Eubanks Jr. fan. Senior too, man. Senior, he demands prestige from fighters, these young fighters, you know, that sit there and say the FUCKs or, you know, all that. You know, all the filth, flowing filth. You know, Callum Walsh in the building, 14-0 at 11 KOs from Ireland, people. He's coming in. If Floyd keeps talking shit about Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson might really beat his ass. I'm tired of this motherfucker been talking shit for years. I remember I used to be just like him. But I always had respect for my elders. He don't have that respect for nobody. So, you know, you say something crazy to me, I don't give a fuck about his security. I'll beat them up too. Oh, everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own opinion. I'm better than Muhammad Ali. I'm better. I'll always be better. He ain't nobody. I told you stop talking about your majesty. You stop talking about he's a boxing god. He ain't better than me. Ali ain't better than me. I'm the TBE. That's the best ever. I'm the TBE. Tyson versus Tua. Nah. I don't want to see Tua versus Tyson because Tua is in a different age bracket. See, Tua is probably that dude. See, right now, because I seen him training last year. He used to do a lot of training ads. And, he was sleeping in his truck for a while. He went through some hard times. He got paid $8 million to fight Lennox Lewis. And it makes you wonder, what the fuck did he do with all this money? I mean, he had to do some. David Tua must have had to been doing some big tricking. He had to be doing some big tricking. Oh yeah, big tricking. Because see, you don't lose that type of money. Oh yes, Eubank Senior will give you one hell of an interview, Kurt. I believe so. Che Gallagher, it was his management. Look it up. Oh, okay. But yeah, man, I would love to interview Chris Eubank Jr. Man, he's a chip off the old block though. You don't really see him in cussing a lot of stuff like that. Nah, you can tell he comes from his old man. Chris Eubank Sr. is a world treasure. Yeah, man. He's one of them dudes that still getting the shit. Dude, like Chris Eubank Sr., his character won't allow him to be like fat because that's a part of his image. You're gonna never see Chris Eubank Jr. all unless he gets sick, God forbids. But no. Chris Eubank Sr. is one of them dudes, like Johnny Nelson. You ain't gonna see Johnny Nelson. Them dudes work out. Carl Froch, Johnny Nelson, Chris Eubank Sr. Them dudes stay in shape because it's just the way they just held on to that. Alan MK13, Mike Tyson versus Ike Barabucci makes sense. Ike Barabucci still looks scary, so that fight could sell. I don't want to see that fight. I don't want to see Ike Barabucci up against anybody except people his age. Mike Tyson, it would be good, but then Mike is almost 60 years old. Ike is 52. I've seen those sparring sessions with him and Effie Ajagba. I'm sorry, man. Effie, I think, took him lightly, and I think he would knock him out in the fight. He's just not the same dude. Ace 99 times, counter punch, big up. Kind of Kurt, you made to keep eggs away from Eubank Jr. Yep. Slap the shit out of you, Will. Flat. That was slick, though. That was some slick shit. Like, what'd you say? What'd you say? And all of a sudden, oh boy, he egged his ass. Boy, that shit was funny. That was good stuff. Any news about Michael Hunter? Nope. Haven't heard from Mike in a while, man. I'll reach out to him. I don't like bugging people, the last time I heard from Michael Hunter, he was training of some sort, doing something for who hell if I know. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Open workouts. Canelo Alverez versus Terence Crawford is next, people. So we are on. Crawford to win, but he must start faster from round one, not what he normally does. Well, I think Crawford is going to do what Crawford is going to do. I don't give a shit if because see, Crawford, there's a reason why he starts slow. He's downloading data. He's checking to see what Canelo does. He's trying to see how Canelo responds to certain movements that he makes, because then when it's time to make the movements to strike, he'll know and he'll be aware of what Canelo is able to do. There you go. So he may start, but then you are right in a sense, Skrilla. Ace 99 times, simply based off the fact that Canelo will already start up. He'll start up, the winner. Canelo just show up and he's already shit. He got 4 or 5 rounds in the bag. You're like, how the hell did that happen? He's rolling out the red carpet for Bud to show up. Crawford Hold my hand, Crawford. That's my boy say. Hold my hand. Oh man. I guess they're getting ready for this open workout. What's up with this open workout, man? I haven't heard your prediction yet. Bro, I've done my prediction 2 weeks ago. They're waiting for Crawford and Canelo to come out, so it is what it is. I'm gonna do my man Shamir a solid, okay? Mm-hmm. What excuses do you think Mexicans will come up with if Canelo gets beat? They always have excuses. I mean, it depends on how he gets beat. I mean, people will do what they're going to do. I mean, they're going to say whatever they feel they need to say to save face. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Good to see Spence backing Crawford to win. Well, I mean, he did, but he kind of reneged on it, you know. So there you go. Mr. Shamir, there is my fight prediction. So click and copy that, sir. And great. Good day to you there. Yeah. Whole full breakdown. What excuses? Okay, let's see. Franklin versus Dechenko. Who will win? I don't know. I'm going for Franklin. Franklin is, I think he's I think Franklin is a C plus fighter, a good solid C plus fighter. Usyk picked Crawford to win as well. Usyk did. He says, crazy man, Terence Crawford, he can switch, man, listen. He's crazy, man. And normally when people see certain things, very smart. See, I can't wait to see magic happen because people are talking about logic, and I think they're sticking to logic because it's safe. You see people that pick Canelo, it's only because of the size. That's it. Oh, well, he went up 3 weight classes. You'll hear that shit. You're going to hear that. Until Terence Crawford shows up, and then you know what they're going to say? You know what they're going to say? When Terence taps Canelo's ass, you know what else they're going to say? They're going to say, oh, Terence was a weight bully. Watch what I tell you. When Terence goes in there and he smokes and he dusts Canelo Alverez, they're going to call Terence Crawford. Well, that's the shit he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be in that weight class anyway. That's what he's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Watch. There you see, they said he was even, they'll come to that conclusion once Canelo loses to Crawford. They're going to say Terence Crawford was a weight bully at 147, 140, and in 154 since he can do that at 168. Watch what I tell you. Franklin's calling out Atoma in one of his interviews. Man, give me the link. Eunice Butterball, send me the link to that because I want to see that. I want to see anybody that calls out Moses because not a lot of people are doing that. Kurt, do you think Crawford can actually campaign at 168? Maybe. This is what I don't want to see, though. I don't want to see him fight David Benavidez. Why? Because David Benavidez is a light heavyweight. He's not a 168-pound fighter. So when then you want him to then go from 168 to 175, wait a minute. 154 to 168, then 168 to 175. Wait the fuck a minute. Why would you want him to do that? For David Benavidez. David Benavidez is just acclimating at 175. So now you want him to go higher because now you're just trying to push to see how and when he is going to break. See, now there people are, oh yeah, well, can you go to 175? Bro, he just only had one fucking fight at 168. And if he can beat Canelo Alverez, that doesn't mean it's time for him to move up just because he beat Canelo. It's time for him to maybe campaign at that weight, but not move up to 175. That doesn't even make sense. But people will want him to do that because people at that point, when you surprise them with fighters that they're not following, and those fighters are doing things that they predicted they wouldn't do or hope they can't do. When they start doing it, they'll start wishing more and more pressure on the fighter that they don't like anyway. Then that's when you're going to see, I bet you won't fight David Benavidez. Why would he fight David Benavidez? You want David to go to 168? Maybe if he did that, but why would he do that? So, yeah, nah. Watch what I tell you. Crawford is versatile, and Canelo only has one style. He'll show you. He'll show you a little bit of Lara, and he'll show you a little bit of Floyd. You know what I mean? He'll use some Bivol stuff. He will do some stuff in there that's going to show people like, okay, those long arms, he knows how to throw them at a certain time. The distance is impeccable. You know what I mean? He'll be able to counter. He can fight going forwards and backwards. You see what I mean? See, Canelo, he plots forward with those cement feet, and he has problems doing anything, especially if he's getting pushed back. That's how Triple G beat him, really. Triple G beat Golovkin in the first fight, which they gave him a draw because Canelo was being pushed back with the jab. Now, I wished Golovkin would have went to the body more. He should have went to the body more on Canelo. You know what I mean? But obviously, there had to be something that he was concerned with that Canelo was throwing at his ass than for him not to do that. Because if you notice, the first two fights that Canelo and Golovkin had, Golovkin was headhunting because he was looking for that knockout shot. He was trying to crack that egg open, right? Which he should have been, in my opinion, he should have been chopping that tree down, which he wasn't doing that. He was just going headhunting, jab, right hand, left hook, overhand right, temple shot right, left hook, jab upstairs. You know what I mean? He wasn't going to the body like we've seen him do before. So I thought that was real disappointing because I expected to see that element from Triple G, right? But best assured, Crawford is going to the body of Canelo, and you're going to be surprised what you find down there when you keep investing in a place that people don't believe in. Hello. People are to keep bringing up Victor Conte and say Crawford is a drug cheat, although he already proved he is clean. No, that's going to come up. It's going to have to come up. Do you know how many excuses will be made if Canelo loses? Bro, it's going to be bad. It's on Box Nation that Franklin called out Atoma 3 hours ago. Cool. I'll do a counterpunch in now on that in the morning. Yeah. In the morning. Yes. Okay. So where the hell is Bud? That's crazy. Dimitri Bivol visits Crawford's training camp and tells him how to beat Canelo. Oh man, I needed to hear a normal voice in this insane world. Mm. Thomas should fight either Dubois or Hergovic. Yeah, I mean, if he can get Dubois in the ring, but Dubois injured. Where the hell did that come from? That just came out of the sky. Now you're injured. Come on. But yeah, I mean, you're gonna hear Victor Conte. You're gonna hear that Canelo Alvarez is not the same fighter. You're going to hear he's a weight bully. You're going to hear everything negative except for, man, Terence Crawford's a bad motherfucker. You know, so it's crazy. It's crazy. So I think this is weird though that okay. Well, I mean, I didn't see him come out. I don't know what's going on with these guys. I don't see Crawford. I don't see Canelo. Um, but you notice they're going different. Things are going a lot different now. You know what I mean? So it's like, the odds are getting more. People are now starting to pick Crawford more because they know they look. When shit gets real when it gets close. You know. But yeah, I mean, undercard people, that was great. It looked good. I didn't see nothing that I should have, that I thought I should see. I don't see anything else coming up. Um, but no, I got a lot more videos, so don't worry. Don't worry about that at all. Hell no, keep Captain Cinnamon Sticks as his favorite. That's the favorite. I mean, somebody would make some money. So, hey man, it is what it is. I had fun today. Stay tuned for tomorrow, okay? Because tomorrow we will have another live stream. It's going to be earlier, though, I may add. Let me look up the official time for you guys. Okay. So we have Canelo Alvarez, the last press conference on top of the weigh-in. That's going to be the same day. It's going to be two different live streams, though. So stay tuned for that. That will be cool. But love you guys. I'm going to jump off of here. Got to do some more work. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. I didn't see that. Maybe they're just trying to intrigue us. I don't know what happened. I don't know why they didn't come out. I mean, we've seen everybody from the lower guys to the co-main event guys. So after that, we didn't see anything that was involving Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. But you guys stay tuned for Thursday. We will be back in action. Until then, see you then, and everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.